Here we're gonna pit Torpedo against himself and see which is better, the original or the classified.
Yo, Joe!
So let's check out Torpedo and see what whether or not this is one of those, rare occasions where they really make something better than the original. So Torpedo, I always loved this figure. This is my introduction to the Navy SEALs, being that I was 10 years old or 8 years old when I got the figure. I didn't know what Navy SEALs were. I eventually learned exactly how they work by watching the movie Navy SEALs, of course, which was, I'm sure historically accurate.
See you later!
But this guy was, the first water trooper and the first person he'd put in the sea, and so he was really fun. And he had a harpoon, which was always fun. This is some visceral, like nasty weapon. Just imagining somebody getting shot with a harpoon and just like blood spurting out. Just something about it, just a little bit more exciting than yet another machine gun. So I love this guy. With every G.I. Joe character, there is usually some connection that we have with that character that either comes from three sources: the figure, the comic book, or the cartoon. And Torpedo's a guy that never got a lot of love in really any of the media. He's just does not show up that much in the comic book. He never had a story arc of anything worthwhile. It never really shows up that much even in the cartoon, except for a couple little moments. So for me, Torpedo was all about the character that you made in your head from the figure. And I did love this character though. Torpedo also brings the diversity. This is the thing about G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was always diverse. If you want to make a G.I. Joe movie today, you'd have the most diverse cast in the world. This guy's Hawaiian. You don't see a lot of Hawaiian heroes in media. It doesn't happen too often, I guess. But Torpedo would have been one of them. He's a vegetarian, right? Which should be kind of a shot against them. The file card talks about him as being like a cold fish. Really efficient, but like a cold fish. He's proficient in martial arts, so I always used to make him kind of a badass and a martial artist, in addition to shooting people with a harpoon and being an expert in water missions. But he also has this couple great accessories. Now, my guys are beaten up. You're gonna see this guy is like almost dead. That O-ring is going any minute, and I will have to perform a surgery on him. He is just coming apart. But he is, 40 years old. You're gonna see he's got this very cool backpack. But these are little torpedoes, right? So I'd always have him floating around, fire off a torpedo backpack and blow something up. I don't know if that was the intention, but kind of badass. So let's unbox this guy. Let's take a look at the packaging. Now, with all the packaging, comparing the packaging to the original packaging is just a lose-lose battle for the G.I. Joe classifieds, because nothing can compare to Hector Garrido's artwork, right? They're doing a good job. This is a great package. I like the new style where they've got these murals in the background. They've got these little drawings in the background that set a scene. But nothing really compares to Hector Garrido's artwork. Sorry, you're always going to lose. This is a pretty good one, though. I like this one because we got a couple really nice little details in the box. First, he's standing on the deck of a submarine, and he's armed to the teeth. We got a scene from the cartoon. We got these creatures shooting out of these tubes on the side here. We've got another nice little piece of box art.
Yo, Joe!
I'm always going to complain, and I'm never going to be happy with the fact that why did they not include the file cards? Why not include the file cards, dude? Like, there's just no reason not to include the file cards. Get Larry Hama back. Have him write some new ones, maybe. But if you don't want to do that, just use the old ones. Just have the file cards like we had when we were a kid. Everybody would have loved it. It's a giant fail for the classified team on that mark. But all right, let's check it out. All right, right away. It's a good looking figure. Let's get him out of his shell. Okay. All right, off the bat. So we got a little artwork in here, which is looking pretty good. I like this like new black and white background they have in these sort of coffin boxes that you can put the Joes in after they get killed in battle. So this is a great looking figure, and it really just looks exactly like the original. I mean, there's just not a lot different here. Comparing them here, looking at each other, and I think they really look alike. So they sort of went with the philosophy of, let's get this guy looking exactly like the original. Let's not screw up like we did with the first wave and try to get too creative here. We're just going to give you exactly what you want, which I'm okay with. I am down with that. This is exactly what I wanted in a Torpedo figure. This is one of the ones I've been anticipating for a while. I love this figure. So let's see what he got. We got here a harpoon gun. It's sort of bendy and squishy. We get this harpoon gun. It's made of a bendable material, which is nice. I noticed I mean, these people are masters at toy making. What's funny is you get some of these other collector toys. Like my kids are into Demon Slayer, and they get all these Demon Slayer toys from really fancy from Bandai, and they look fantastic. They move, and then within 30 seconds of playing with them, you break them because they're made for collectors and not for anybody to play with. I would argue that these guys are really made for collectors. But they also understand that, you know, we play with them, right? We're going to play with them. So maybe, and every once in a while I let my kids play with them, you know, until they break one. And then, you know, I beat them and keep them in the basement. But if they're good, I might let them play with them. And so, he's got some nice details here. So there's a couple great details on this weapon. And you're going to see first... we got the harpoon nice and bendable, so it won't break on you like those crappy Bandai toys. It's got here a little loop here, so that I imagine is so that sort of like with your boogie board, that if you lose your boogie board, that it won't float away from you. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. It's a nice addition. Okay, so wraps around his hand, which is great. I really like that. I also like this other detail here. He's got a little watch that looks very cool, you know, and there's some nice detail around the figure, but he's really a dead-on replication of the original. He's also got a machine gun, which makes sense because, you know, I'll have the harpoon gun, but would I want to fight a whole war with the harpoon gun? Probably not. So we gave him a little machine gun. Got a clip. I love when they come with a removable clip. That just gives it some realism. And we got this little knife, which looks nice. It's got a little red hilt, nicely detailed. It's specific to him, and fits there very nicely. And let's see. We get the flippers. Look really nice. They got some color to them, maybe a little bit of an upgrade from the original. We got, and we've got his mask. Let's put on the mask. That fits nicely. That is perfect fit. That looks fantastic on him. And we got our backpack, and the backpack. Okay, we're gonna put it on there. My problem with these things, the backpacks are hard to get on sometimes, or they fall off constantly. We got the tubes go into the backpack, and here we have my only real gripe with the figure would be he doesn't have the little torpedoes on the back that the original had. Just missing those little rockets, which I think is just kind of it was like a fun thing to pretend he'd be floating around underwater and just fire a torpedo off his backpack and waste an eel or two, and I just like that. And so it's a miss. It's a miss to not have that. He's got some nice place to put weapons in the back, it looks like. can sort of store the harpoon gun, and it falls out. So that's him. That's Torpedo versus Torpedo.
Yo, Joe!
I think this figure is great. It's a really perfect rendition of the original, with not much different. They're not changing much. It's, you know, but they sort of nail it on the head. Just perfect. Everything you want in the figure, minus the rockets on the backpack. So, who wins? What's better, the OG or the G.I. Joe Classified 2023 release of Torpedo? I'm going with the original, because even though we got some nice upgrades here that are very cool, the mask being able to remove, it's just the same thing as the original, and they just didn't give us the little torpedo. So I think it's a pretty close one on this, but I'm going to give it to the iconic, about to explode and O-ring, suffer an O-ring death Torpedo here. I think he wins. This is one for the original Torpedo. About to snap. Oh, look at that. So, it's a nice figure. Good job, the G.I. Joe Classified team. Do something about your backpacks, please. Can you? Yeah. So, if you like this video, you want to see some more compared, like and subscribe, comment, tell me what you think, and I'll see you next time.